4:23 a.m. hours, Eastern Mediterranean Sea, 127 nautical miles southwest of Cyprus. The USS Gerald R. Ford glides through calm waters under a moonless sky, her crew rotating through the pre-dawn watch cycle with practiced efficiency. Then CNT transmits flash override traffic. USS Harry S. Truman has received movement orders. Destination: Arabian Gulf. The signal reaches 18 vessels simultaneously across 3 carrier strike groups within the Situation Room at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Military advisors crowd digital displays showing force projection timelines. The decision matrix is binary and unambiguous. Who supercarriers operating within a single theater of operations against a peer adversary has not occurred since Operation Desert Storm in 1991. The doctrinal implications cascade outward at digital speed. Iran's Revolutionary Guard naval forces detect the transmission, intercepts within 14 minutes. Their response posture elevates from amber to red. At 4:47 a.m. hours, the Harry S. Truman Battle Group receives authenticated execute orders. The carrier, displacing 97 serotongs and carrying 64 fixed-wing aircraft, turns southeast. Escorting vessels assume screening formations. 2 Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers positioned at 12 and 3 o'clock, 1 Ticonderoga-class cruiser trailing for 0 yards astern, a Los Angeles-class attack submarine diving to 400 feet ahead of the formation. The strike group accelerates to 22 knots. Estimated time to Strait of Hormuz, 96 hours. Iranian coastal radar installations along Bandar Abbas register the course change at 5:12 a.m. hours. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps convenes emergency command conferences across 6 facilities. Mobile anti-ship cruise missile batteries, specifically the Gator system with its 186-mile range, begin redeployment from hardened shelters. Fast attack craft swarm from naval stations at Bushehr and Bandar Lengja. The Iranian infantry includes 34 operational missile boats, each armed with Chinese-designed C-800 to Noor anti-ship missiles. Intelligence estimates place 19 vessels at immediate readiness. The escalation ladder activates, rung by irreversible rung. At 6:34 a.m. hours, USS Gerald R. Ford launches its first combat air patrol package. 4 F-18E Super Hornets, equipped with AGM-88E advanced anti-radiation, missiles scream off the flight deck at 170 miles per hour, reaching operational altitude of 320 feet within 8 minutes. Their mission parameters are explicit. Establish air superiority umbrella, extending 250 nautical miles, suppress Iranian integrated air defense systems, maintain day-link connectivity with AGIS platforms. The aircraft carry electronic warfare pods capable of jamming S-300 fire control radars. They orbit in racetrack patterns, sensors scanning the electromagnetic spectrum for threat emissions. By 8:15 a.m. hours, both carrier groups have synchronized their battlespace management systems. A common operational picture displays across 23 combat information centers, from the carriers themselves to the guided missile destroyers, USS Arleigh-Burke and USS Paul Hamilton. The tactical action officers now coordinate a defensive network spanning 140 square nautical miles. SM-3 interceptors stand ready in vertical launch cells. Phalanx close-in weapon systems undergo final automated diagnostics. CRAM launchers swivel through test tracking sequences. A layered defense architecture represents $4.07 billion in integrated weapons technology. Every sensor feeds every shooter. The system operates with millisecond precision. At 10:47 a.m. hours, Iranian submarines depart Bandar Abbas. The Kilo-class diesel boats, quieter than their nuclear counterparts at low speeds, slip beneath thermal layers at 230-foot depths. They carry 18 torpedoes and tube-launched anti-ship missiles. American P-8 Poseidon, maritime patrol aircraft, deploy sonobuoys in barrier patterns across MH-60 RC Hawk helicopters, DIPA-N IQS-22 airborne, low-frequency sonar, raise into the water column. The undersea hunt begins with passive acoustic tracking. Hoder ray sonars trail behind destroyers, listening for cavitation signatures and machinery noise. One submarine contact is classified at 11:22 a.m. hours, bearing 73 degrees, range 34 nautical miles. A Los Angeles-class boat shadows at 300 yards, maintaining firing solution. Diplomatic channels ignite simultaneously. The Swiss embassy in Tehran transmits urgent demurge. Russia convenes United Nations Security Council emergency sessions. China's foreign ministry issues statements condemning unilateral military escalation. European allies activate crisis management protocols. The International Energy Agency monitors Brent crude futures, which spike 11% 90 minutes of trading, 17 million barrels of oil transit the Strait of Hormuz daily, representing 21% of global petroleum consumption. The economic calculus is immediate and global. Insurance premiums for tanker traffic increased 340%. Shipping companies divert vessels toward the Cape of Good Hope route, adding 14 days and $450,000 per voyage. At 1:05 p.m. hours, USS Harry S. Truman crosses the Suez Canal threshold. Egyptian military observers document the passage from shore installations. The carrier S-Air Wing conducts continuous flight operations, launching and recovering aircraft every 32 minutes. Fuel consumption reaches 840 gallons per minute across the strike group. Underway replenishment. Oilers maintain parallel courses, transferring JP5 jet fuel and diesel through tension hoses. The logistical ballet continues without pause. Aviation ordnance men load AI-Yang at 120 mRM missiles onto weapons pylons. Magazine inventories are verified. To 400 precision-guided munitions, 650 air-to-air missiles, 890 torpedoes across both carrier groups. Iranian asymmetric warfare doctrine emphasizes swarm tactics and mine warfare. Intelligence indicates 30 naval mines in Revolutionary Guard inventories, including the EM-52 rocket-propelled variant, capable of targeting submarine acoustic signatures. USPAC Navy mine countermeasure vessels deploy ahead of the Harry S. Truman Group. MH-50 LIC Dragon helicopters tow Mankay 105 mine-sweeping sleds, generating magnetic and acoustic signatures to trigger contact mines safe. Explosive ordnance disposal teams stand by aboard rigid-hull inflatable boats. The mine-sweeping corridor advances at 6 knots, each mile requiring 73 minutes to clear. The Strait of Hormuz narrows to 21 miles at its minimum width. Every square meter must be sanitized. 4:40 p.m. hours, Iranian fast attack craft begin provocative maneuvers. 11 boats accelerate to 43 knots, closing to within 2,800 yards of USS Paul Hamilton. The destroyer's Mark 160-gun computing system achieves lock with its 5-inch main battery. Warning shots are authorized under rules of engagement. 2 rounds impact 600 yards ahead of the lead Iranian vessel. The boats scatter, executing evasive Z-patterns. Overhead, FA-18 Super Hornets drop to 1,200 feet, conducting low-altitude, high-speed passes. The message is wordless and absolute. The fast attack craft withdraw beyond 15 nautical miles. No shots are exchanged beyond the warning salvos. The crisis threshold holds, but the margin compresses. Regional allies activate support mechanisms. Bahrain's Fifth Fleet headquarters coordinates logistics nodes. The United Arab Emirates grants expanded basing access. Saudi Arabia opens for airfields to U.S. tactical aircraft. KC-135s, Stratotanker aerial refueling aircraft, deploy to Prince Sultan Air Base, enabling continuous fighter coverage. The coalition architecture, dormant since 2021, reconstitutes within 72 hours. Ammunition stockpiles transfer to forward positions. Patriot missile batteries reposition along the Saudi coast. The military infrastructure of deterrence rebuilds layer upon technical layer. At 7:17 p.m. hours, both carrier groups establish station. USS Gerald R. Ford operates 89 nautical miles north of the strait. USS Harry S. Truman positions 72 nautical miles east-southeast. The geometry creates overlapping engagement zones with no gaps. Surface-to-air missile coverage extends 190 miles in all directions. Tomahawk cruise missiles, 154 loaded across the strike groups, hold 1,200 pre-planned Iranian targets in digital memory. The targeting data includes command bunkers, radar installations, missile sites, naval facilities, airfields, and Revolutionary Guard headquarters. Time from launch order to first impact, 11 minutes. Iranian military posture reaches maximum readiness without crossing into offensive operations. Missile batteries remain in launch positions but do not illuminate targets with fire control radars. Fast attack craft patrol Iranian territorial waters but do not enter international shipping lanes. Fighter aircraft conduct training flights but do not approach carrier defense zones. The standoff crystallizes into a high-alert stalemate. Both sides maintain weapons-tight protocols. The strait remains open. Tanker traffic continues at 94% normal volume. The global economy exhales slightly, but remains tense. The tactical lessons were immediate and doctrine-altering. Dual-carrier operations in confined waters require coordinated battle management systems, operating across conventional communication hierarchies. The strike groups demonstrated interoperability at speeds previously theoretical. Sensor fusion between Aegis platforms, airborne early warning aircraft, and satellite reconnaissance created a battlespace transparency that collapsed Iranian operational security. Every mobile missile launcher was tracked. Every submarine was localized. Every radar emission was cataloged. The technological overmatch was comprehensive. Strategic ramifications cascaded through multiple domains. Iran's leadership confronted a military calculus with no acceptable solutions. Offensive action guaranteed catastrophic losses. Defensive posture demonstrated impotence. The Revolutionary Guard's asymmetric warfare doctrine, designed to exploit single-carrier vulnerabilities through distributed attacks, collapsed against dual-carrier integrated defenses. A swarm tactics required massed coordination. American sensors detected and tracked massing. The tactical window closed before Iranian forces could exploit it. Regional perception shifted measurably. Gulf Cooperation Council states interpreted the deployment as security guarantee renewal. Israel viewed the posture as strategic depth against Iranian nuclear timelines. Turkey observed the show of force and recalibrated its regional ambitions. A carrier presence did not merely deter. It restructured the strategic landscape. Nations allied more closely. Adversaries recalculated. Neutral parties chose sides. If carriers functioned as mobile sovereign territory, projecting not just military power but political will. This engagement fundamentally reshaped naval deterrence theory for the 21st century. The deployment demonstrated that dual-carrier operations create battle space effects exponentially greater than sequential single-carrier rotations. The integrated air wings produced 248 fighter sorties per day compared to 124 from a single carrier. The missile magazine depth doubled. The defensive perimeter expanded by 73%. The intelligence collection capacity tripled. Most critically, the psychological impact on adversary decision-making proved decisive. Iranian commanders faced not a target, but a dilemma. Attack one carrier. The other retaliates with impunity. Attempt coordinated strikes. Both groups execute simultaneous defensive and offensive operations. The operational problem became unsolvable. Economic markets stabilized within 11 days. Oil prices retreated to pre-crisis levels as shipping insurance costs normalized. The Strait of Hormuz remained open because the military capacity to close it was negated. 21% of global oil supply continued flowing not through diplomatic negotiation, but through 180 tons of aircraft carrier displacement. The carriers did not blockade. They did not invade. They simply existed in position, sensors active, weapons ready. That existence alone reshaped behavior across an entire region. And at 6 hours after the initial deployment order, the strategic outcome was absolute. Two carrier strike groups demonstrated that American naval power, when committed with clarity and mass, renders certain adversary strategies obsolete before they are executed. The strait remains open not through negotiation, but through demonstrated capability. The message requires no translation. It exists in steel, in sensors, in the silent presence of overwhelming force, held ready but unleashed only if crossed. Iran saw. The world watched. The strait flows.